Hey YouTube, this is Eric at Monkey Paw Wargaming. Today we're going to talk about the army building aspect of Retro Warhammer 40k 2nd edition. We're sort of going to go back to that, revisit that series, and we're going to start with the Imperial Guard Codex. I have acquired some models through a friend, and I've also acquired some models through eBay and some models from my bits box, ironically. I mean, I haven't looked in my bits box in a long time. Was able to find some pieces and cobble together something. I'm waiting on some bits to finish that model. I'll show you what that model is once we get into it. But we're going to talk about the core sort of essence of how to put a list together in 2nd edition. We're also going to talk about war gear cards. We're going to talk about add-ons to the list, like extra units which come from the support category. And so let's get started with that and let's dive in. Alright, we're back. This is some of the models that I've acquired so far. If you take a look here, it's not too much I have at the moment, but we're getting there. We're getting there. So the first thing that we're going to look at is you got a 10-man squad here with a heavy weapon and a special weapon, sergeant. And then I'm working on another 10-man squad. This guy I just got on eBay. Special weapon, heavy weapon team. I got a bag of bits with that. These pieces here, she didn't look at which ones I have here. So I got pieces of a last cannon team. There's a wheel. It's an extra mortar piece. All right, so I got 2 wheels, a carriage, and a gun shield. Okay, so I could, if I want, I can make a heavy bolter team, it looks like. Yeah, because here's the top of the guy. And I got parts of a last cannon team, but not all of it. So I'll have to search my bits box. I might have the finished pieces to these. I'm not really sure. Otherwise, I'll have to scour eBay for the parts, or talk to some of my friends. Maybe they have some in their bits box and they could work out a trade. So this could replace the heavy weapon team here, because this is just a mortar team, and I can always just shift that over into, which this is the command squad right here. So I got a battle standard, which is a custom job that my friend did with his Catachan army that he gave me the remnants of. So this is sort of the remnants of that I'm going to build off of. And I got the captain or the colonel, depending on where you pay the points to upgrade them. And then another special weapon guy here. All right, additionally, I was able to find in my bits box the gun carriage to a Griffin mortar. I'll have to come up with a Chimera hull to sort of put this in. I think I had one at one time, and I ended up opting just to build the Chimera instead of the Griffin. I'm not really, it was such a long time ago, I don't remember maybe I turned it into a Salamander scout vehicle. Either way, I kept the bits, just in case if I ever wanted to go back and build a Griffin. And sadly, in the new edition, the Griffin tank is no longer a tank you can even choose. I don't have the current Forge World, but I don't even think it's in the Legends either. I'll have to double check that. A little bit behind on 9th edition stuff. Next item I found in my bits box was an old metal Sentinel. Now this isn't the original Sentinel they made. The original Sentinel was an egg-shaped. The egg-shaped Sentinel was, it was silly looking. It was like basically an egg with legs. So this is the second version that they came out with, which sort of had the same sort of legs and profile, kind of walk like a chicken. So there's the 2 pieces here, and then the leg pieces. Unfortunately, I'm missing the engine and the gun. However, I worked out a trade with somebody to acquire those pieces, and hopefully they're in the mail right now as we speak. And once those come in, I'll probably do an assembly video of assembling this thing and rebuilding it and repainting it. Now, when you build in the Codex, when you build, if you notice here, you're looking at the battle line, And basically you can spend up to 50% on characters, 25% on troops, and 50% on support. So what you're going to do is you're going to start with Imperial Guard squads, obviously, because that's essentially, you can't unlock the additional units until you fill these slots up at the top. So we're already pretty much at a command squad. I mean, I just have to sort of move around some pieces within this stuff that I got to work with to get 2 guys into there to be a command squad. And then that way I'll have a full 10-man squad, a command squad sort of ready, and then basically a second squad almost finished, which will allow me to unlock 2 additional units. Now, if I can get the Sentinel complete, or the Griffin complete, that could fill my 2 units. But in the meantime, I have some additional units that are already done. I have a unit of Ratlings. These guys are pretty cool. I have a unit of Ratlings that were painted by me way back in 1995. And these were part of my friend's army, and he sort of just kept them that way, and I think maybe I'll just leave them that way too. I don't know. It's just kind of neat to see something you painted that's basically like 25 years old, and where your painting went and where, you know, where it was and where it's going. The next additional unit is an assassin, obviously. Got one of those. And then something that everybody that talks about and are highly sought after, Adeptus Arbites. Now, Adeptus Arbites they're not really rare per se, but they're definitely highly sought after on the secondary market. Mainly because, you know, I mean, they're just really awesome models. Definite Judge Dredd vibe. On the tabletop, they have decent armor. They got a 4-up save. Shotguns in 2nd edition were actually pretty good, especially with the using the scatter shot. That knockback rule was quite handy. So this is an additional unit I could add if I wanted to, if I can't fill out these things. So looking at it so far as a whole, I mean, I'm in like a basic squad is 100 points flat. It's probably about 20 points for the missile launcher and about anywhere between 6 to 10 points for the melta-gun. I don't have the exact math. I'm just working off the top of my head here. So, you know, this squad here is about, you know, let's just say 130 points. Now you can give them a veteran ability. The cool thing in the Guard Codex is you could give them veteran abilities by paying points. This is one of the features that I actually liked about the old Guard Codex, is instead of having a separate squad, you can basically just customize the squad by taking veteran abilities, and then it lists them here in the points. And then I think on the following page, I'm trying to remember. Well, either way, the rules are in there. Well, I mean, once I start to make a more cohesive list with specific points and unit choices, I'll kind of go over what those veteran abilities are. But man, Deadeye Shots was a good one. I think that one allowed you to reroll your failed to hit rolls, if I recall. But there's other good ones in here too. But it was really neat. You can kind of just tailor your force. Like every unit can be a veteran squad and do some really cool things. Like heavy weapons teams were really good. Like if you got like the slick crew, they could fire twice. If they hit the first time, it's kind of neat. So we'll take a look at that more as I get more stuff to build, but this is sort of the preliminary video of showing you what I've acquired up into this point, and just briefly touch upon how you sort of put the guard army together to unlock the additional choices. It's a little bit different than other armies. War gear cards. So these are all the war gear cards, well, not all of them, but most of them, that most of the stack is Imperium can take most of these. So what we're going to talk about is what I'm going to equip this guy with. Now, you know, in the game, it's ideally to have, you know, what you see is what you get, and that's kind of how I'm going to roll with this in terms of building this whole army out. Pretty much whatever weapon those guys have is what I'm going to pay the points for. Now, that's not very efficient from a competitive standpoint or anything like that. But with Warhammer second edition, the goal behind it wasn't necessarily to be competitive with it. It was more narrative driven, beer and pretzels kind of gaming, and that's kind of where the sort of yard we're gonna play in. Obviously, nobody plays this game competitively anymore, second edition wise, and it's not even really worth talking about. So we're gonna sort of skip that, and we're just basically gonna talk about WYSIWYG, or what you see is what you get, and that's pretty much how, like I said, I'm gonna roll with this. Anything that these models have, I'm gonna pay the points for, and whatever the points shake out at the army size I'm gonna think about building is what I'm gonna stick with. So I'm sure some of you out there will be like, that's not a really good choice, Eric. You should really look into this. It just depends on what the availability is, and not only that is like the models themselves, what I end up with as far as choice, right? Because these models, they're not very hard to find, but they're not cheap to buy necessarily anymore either. So I'm not gonna drop lots of money on single individual models just to maintain a competitive edge over my opponent on the tabletop if I'm going to be playing Warhammer second edition. It's just not going to happen. So there's definitely going to be some inefficiencies in there, and I just wanted to make sure that people were aware of that when I'm picking and choosing the weapons and war gear options. It's more for fluff and flavor than competitive edge. So with that being said, this guy's definitely going to get a Power Fist because he's equipped with one. My friend, when he gave him to me, he gave him a Stone Bolter. It's probably a holdover from when he used him, when he transferred him over from second edition to third edition. But fortunately, we have a War Gear card that can cover for that. So this is a combi weapon, and you can choose it in any of these combinations. So obviously we're going to do Twin Bolters, which will count as a Storm Bolter. So that's what we're going to give this guy, is a Power Fist and Storm Bolter. And, probably give him some sort of a field save too. You definitely need to keep your officers alive in this game. They're sort of like, out of all the characters, they're the squishiest. So I'll probably give him a conversion field. This one was pretty good. It's like a 50-50 split of whether or not you make a save. It's like a 4+ invulnerable, basically. The downside, though, is it blinds unprotected troops on a 4, 5, or 6. So if you're going to take this guy, it's definitely one of those things where you want to kind of keep him as far away from, the other guys in his squad as possible. Let's try to have to remember to read what it says on here. Let's see, is a blinding flash of light with a radius equal to the strength of the attacker or the weapon in inches. So obviously the higher the strength, the bigger the radius. So this is probably maybe something I might consider, or might not. Might maybe go with a refractor field or some other type of field save. This one is general all-around one because it's cheap. So we'll think about that with this guy. But that's kind of where we're at with him. Got a battle standard that was custom converted by my friend. It's a little piece of brass rod kind of inserted into there. I'll probably repaint the banner to be more flashy. I don't know. His painting skills are pretty good, but when it came to freehanding banners, that wasn't obviously a skill that he excelled at. It's not a big deal. Model looks cool, though. So we got the battle standard. So he'll have, whatever that piece of war gear is, and, this guy right here is going to get, if he can carry it, he's going to get a bolt pistol and a chainsword. So, but that's just a quick overview. This is where we're at with the Catachan Retro 40K Army. In the next video, we'll probably have, hopefully, more models by then. Maybe even started some of these being primed and painted. Once the Sentinel pieces come in, I'm actually going to do a build video of that. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to put an actual... When you bought this model, it came with a Cadian pilot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a Catachan heavy weapon guy and put him in there, so it's going to be Catachan. And maybe look for some deals on eBay or somewhere. Maybe get another one of these and fill out the unit, because you can take it's a unit of 1 to 3. But for now, we'll just keep it at this and then fill out as we go. So Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.